better not have no plans tonight.
Movie time and it's feeling right.
You're looking for a love that lasts. You'll find it at Romancing the Podcast. Ooh, ooh, baby, you had me at hello. Ooh, I love you.
I know.
Ooh, ooh, baby, you're the wind beneath my wings. Ooh, ah, I'll have what she's having.
Women only want one thing, and it's a man that'll infiltrate a skyscraper and kill a dozen terrorists to save them.
Not inaccurate. That's accurate, yeah.
Thank you for tuning into Romancing the Pod. You had us at Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. I'm Paige Wesley.
And I'm Sprechen Sie Todd, and that means this week we watched Die Hard. I did come in with some real Ellis energy, and I'm going to have some real Ellis kind of takes. I'm going to say it.
Ooh.
But Paige, I know this isn't the first time you saw this movie.
Not at all.
Do you even remember when the first time you saw this movie was?
Oh, God. No. I mean, childhood, probably.
Yeah, same.
I'm pretty sure I definitely saw this probably way before I should have.
Oh, I definitely saw a version that said, Yippee-ki-yay, motherfather.
Oh, see, I know I have also seen those versions.
Yeah.
But I also feel like at some point my dad must have had this on, because I remember as a kid being so grossed out by the glass in the feet.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a young core memory for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's the other thing, and I figured I would bring this up so we don't spend too much time on it, but if you have not been to film school in the last 10 years, you might not know that this is the movie they often now use to teach story structure.
Yo, I was about to say, they lock down every story arc in this movie. I literally wrote in my notes, this might be a perfectly written movie.
This is the movie they used to develop story circles.
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of people use today. It is based on Joseph Campbell's Hero of a Thousand Faces. It is a perfect hero cycle movie.
Well, so is Star Wars. A bunch of them are.
Yeah.
But everybody gets an arc. Everybody has an arc.
Yes.
And it pays off good or bad for them based upon their alignment.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You don't have to go to film school to learn this. It's on the internet. You could just go. But if you try to learn screenwriting for features specifically, story structure on the internet, they are teaching you Die Hard. That's not a bad thing. I think Die Hard is structured incredibly well.
It's a perfectly written action movie, for sure.
There's a reason they use it. Some people will also, oddly enough, use it for TV. Depending on what your TV structure is, it is still applicable. But if you're a nerd wanting to get into screenwriting, you better know this film.
Yeah, you're going to have to, because it's great. It really is. I was so glad that we did this. And then after watching it, and I'll be honest with you, Paige, it's been a good number of years since I saw the first one.
Sure.
I honestly, if you're saying why would they do Die Hard as a romantic Christmas movie, all I have to say to you is, what more could you want? I mean, a lady of uncommon competence takes a job in a distant city.
Correct.
And yeah, she keeps her own good name because she earned it. But making her husband literally travel across the continent, not to conquer, to listen, Paige.
Yes. Yeah.
In the trials that follows, he learns the finest gesture isn't possession, Paige, but partnership.
That's right.
I was trying to write this as much like a review for a Jane Austen book as possible. And then the next line I wrote was, and the sexiest thing a man can wear is a properly fitting apology.
Oh.
Even though she doesn't get it. I really wish he didn't say all that stuff too. And I love
Al.
I love Al, or Reginald Val Johnson. Carl Winslow, if you prefer. He's great.
Yes, incredible in this movie, yes.
He's amazing in this. But I really wish he had said that to his wife, because that's what she needed to hear.
I'm sure he says it after, I hope.
Paige.
After they bang it out in that limo.
They definitely bang it out of that window. They get in the back and then raise that privacy shield, and then that oversized teddy bear sees more than it wanted to.
Oh, yeah. Merry Christmas.
But as I was waiting for you to finish it, I just started watching the second one to see are they still together?
Oh,
because
shit.
that's something we answer. And yes, Paige, he's now a lieutenant in the LAPD. And it picks up where they're like visiting her mom in DC.
Is it the second one or the third one where it's Hans's brother?
I don't know.
Okay.
I do know at one point it is Hans's brother, but I think it's the third one.
I'd have to get, yeah.
Is that the Simon Says one? Is it the Simon Says one? That's his
think
brother?
so.
Then that's the third one.
Yeah.
Because that's the one that's a full-ass different movie. They were just like, what if we just sprinkle some Die Hard in and make it a sequel?
But I remember it being really good, and maybe I'm
It is.
wrong. It's been years since I've seen it.
Well, from what I remember it being good. The Hans Gruber ones are good.
Yes.
Or the Gruber brother ones are good. Let's say it that way.
Yeah, like Star Trek, where it's the odd numbered ones. We were prepping to watch this, because like you did this as a joke when we finished recording the last episode, not even a week ago.
Right.
And I was like, no, I see your joke and I am excited for it.
Yeah.
Because why the fuck not? He is doing this for his wife. The more I thought about this, the more I was like, we always talk about needing more like holiday horror movies or whatever. And we have a million holiday rom-coms, like so many.
Too many to do.
Too many to do. And a lot of them aren't good.
Yeah, well, we've done 2 of those back to back too. So yeah.
Back to back. That's why we had to do this. And this is a great movie. And all I wanted as I thought about this was more holiday action movies.
Couldn't agree more. Violent Night, Paige, come on.
I love Violent Night. This Reindeer Games is like one of the only other ones that's just a straight up action
Yeah.
movie that occurs at Christmas.
Yeah.
Right? Where Violent Night is kind of unique in that it also has like a supernatural element to it. I mean like straight up Fast and Furious John Wick ass holiday movies, which isn't one of the John Wicks a Christmas movie?
I think the puppy in the original one
Was
is
a Christmas present, right?
From his wife. So yeah, I think technically we should do that next.
No, we have plans for what's next, remember?
You're right. Yeah. No, I actually am looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I was like, more holiday Christmas, like more holiday action movies like this. We could use it for sure.
I agree. I just need more like fun, action-y holiday movies. I'm here for it.
Yeah. I need a Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen,
Well, this movie is pretty heavy on the Cupid part, Paige. Like, Hans Gruber does come across from, I guess, East Germany to, like, bring these two together.
Yeah. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down the wall between them.
He's a real Krampus about it.
Yeah.
I do want to say, though, like, I think if you look at just the relationship part of this movie, it has, like, this, like, weird time capsule of, like, what was going on for, like, society in America
Yes.
at that time.
Yeah.
Because, like, women were, like, able to have bank accounts and stuff. So they were, like, more asserting of their, like, not even dominance, but, like, equality in relationships.
Yeah.
And, like, that's kind of what's going on in this movie. Like, Holly, quote, Gennaro at the beginning of the movie is, like, kind of an executive at a pretty decently sized
Yeah.
company and makes probably way more money than her husband makes, who probably makes okay money.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, she moved out to LA, bought a house, took the kids with them. And I kind of like when he sort of explains why he thought, listen, I'm going to hang out in New York for a bit because it might not work out there for you.
Yeah.
But I think after 6 months and she's been successful, I think he's like, shit, I either got a divorce or I got to move.
Yeah.
Because her career is working out. Like, I do think he's coming there to, like, kind of give a version of the apology he gives to Carl Winslow at the end of this movie.
Right.
And they do end up back together, although it ends differently. I think this is pretty much like Marriage Story, but like inside a foiled heist movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, they deal with the complicated marriage issue.
Yes.
But there's also a heist that one of them is trying to solve, Holly. Do you mind? Give him a minute.
I mean, his apology that he gives to Al, and unfortunately not to her, although we could imagine or hope that she overheard it on one of the terrorist walkie-talkies.
Or she gets it back because they're recording this, like she hears it later. I don't know. Yeah.
Who knows? Or that he gives it breathlessly in the back of that limo after, satisfying her multiple times on their commute home. It's Los Angeles. It's going to take a while. Pomona.
I loved when she said it like that. I was like, man.
It's like an hour and a half.
That is LA though.
Yeah.
If you're like on the other side, and they're in Century City. So like.
They're in Century City, and I was regretting that I did not drive you and Mikey past Nakatomi Plaza when you were here. Because it is a building. Like, it's still here. Like, you could drive by it whenever you want.
Yeah, I mean, they cleaned it up after the helicopter crash into the building after it exploded and, the Gruber files and all that stuff.
Yeah, but you could, drive the roundabout and whatever. And instead, we drove past the Beverly Hills Police Department 2 or 3 times blasting the theme from Beverly Hills Cop. And I don't regret that part.
Some of my favorite memories from that LA trip, honestly.
Do, Yeah, just like out the window.
The best part was the third time we drove by and the same cop was there and just like, what do you want me to do about it? Like, yeah, I know the movie. Like,
But yeah, Nakatomi Plaza is not crazy far from Beverly Hills. We could have done both, and I'm sorry.
I blame Mikey.
Sure. I mean, I was driving, but sure.
One of my favorite parts of this movie is when Carl finally gets his hands on the man that killed his brother. And it's clear that Carl has had training. Like,
Yeah.
he definitely spent, 12 to 15 years in ballet because he is kicking like high kick at John McClane's face. It's so funny to me because he's kicking like he's in West Side Story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like he not only does he want to get his hands on the guy who killed his brother, he needs to get them toesies on him too.
It's very funny to me. Every kick is like Daniel LaRusso pre-planned it. It's like that kind of kick.
He's just crane kicking all over that building. Oh, man.
I do think this is a perfect movie. I love that the FBI shows up and they go by Johnson & Johnson, but not related, which
But not related.
is so funny because it's kind of like two jokes.
Yes.
Because, like, of course, their names are Johnson & Johnson, but they're not related. And also there's a company called Johnson & Johnson, which I thought was sort of funny as well.
I also fully don't think those are their actual names.
Oh, no, they're definitely not. Yeah, I think the movie sort of says they're not.
Yeah, I think every FBI agent that shows up is Johnson.
Yeah.
Definitely in movies, for sure. I also loved when one of the Johnsons was like, woo, just like Saigon. And the other Johnson's like, I was in junior high.
Dickhead. Yeah. I do love that they're like just fucking jazzed to go to the roof and murder civilians.
Oh.
Because they even say, they're like, well, we'll just like mow down all the terrorists and like we'll probably kill 30 to 40% of the hostages as well.
Yeah, 20 to 25% is what they say, but still, like,
And they're like, that's acceptable. That's fine.
it's fine. Don't worry about
It's
it.
like, that's wild.
Oh, man.
But they have to say that terrible shit because they do die in this movie.
Oh,
like
yeah.
those civil servants do die in this movie. And I'll be honest with you, Paige, I feel bad for 50% of the people that die in that crash. And those people are the pilots who were just like doing their jobs, man.
See, I only feel bad for 20 to 25%, and we can live with that.
Heard. Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm just- This movie is incredibly well made, well structured. There's not a lot of fat on it. You could maybe trim a fight scene down or two, but the thing that this movie does really well that I think modern movies really struggle with is it makes its fight scenes impactful and they move. So they're not just like, I recently, when I was going to Japan, watched all of the John Wick movies. I have thoughts, some good, some bad. But my one main bad thought is that a lot of the fight scenes are very repetitive and just kind of shooting over and over and over and over and over again, and they last way too long. You could trim a ton of it out, you wouldn't miss much, and you'd see a lot of the same stuff.
There's one John Wick fight that takes place on like a big building, maybe even an airport. I can't quite remember. And they have silencers on their guns and they're just like
Yes.
walking around
Yes.
and shooting at each other in like a crowded like airport lounge. It's like
Yes.
insane. None
Yes.
of none of that would happen. That's insane.
I mean, none of John Wick would happen in general, and I'm willing to suspend my disbelief and have so many questions and interest in the coin system. But like the thing that this movie and movies of this time do really well is that, you know, take, for example, the scene with the glass, where it's like, we've got a shootout is happening, but they realize something in the middle of the shootout. He's barefoot. If we shoot the glass, that creates a problem for him. It is moving our story along. It's not just here to shoot people.
Yeah.
Every single one of those interactions has a purpose and movement within the plot. Again, that's why they use this movie to teach screenwriting. But like that, I think, is something missing from our modern action movies of like, hey, yes, you can do stuff that looks cool, but it's gotta move the movie.
Yeah. And they all do. Like every fight scene does sort of like have an impact downstream, you know, like because he cuts his feet or, you know,
Right.
like he kills the guy with the detonators and now he has the detonators, you know, so like they're all like all over the place. I did love that when the first guy dies, Carl's brother, whatever his name was.
Yeah, I don't remember. I kept calling him Hans.
Yeah, well, Hans is the main dude.
I know.
They're all Hans.
But if you look at the names of the people playing the other terrorists, half of them are named Hans.
Oh, yeah. But either way, when Carl's brother dies, and he's like, he is going to put him in the elevator. Like, that's part of the plan.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was
yeah.
like in the elevator when he turns around and sees the Santa Claus. And I was like, oh, I love that he, like, just in that moment after killing a man, just got, overwhelmed with Christmas
got
spirit.
creative.
I thought it was so funny.
It's great. It's great.
It was wonderful.
It's one of those things where, like, we could talk for 30 minutes just about how much we like the movie in general, but it's going to get repetitive.
Yeah.
So we might just want to dive in.
The one thing that struck me this time before we dive in, Paige, is that I was just like, thank God C4 can't melt steel beams. But Paige, maybe we should go through this movie scene by scene.
Let's do it. We open on a plane landing in Los Angeles, the scariest part of this movie, LAX. And we see John McClane like white knuckling the armrest of the plane.
Yeah.
I think this serves two purposes within the film. One, your hero can't be infallible. Your hero can't be perfect. They have to have some weakness, even if it's as small as he's afraid of flying. It humanizes your hero.
Yeah.
Screenwriting 101.
I think he's like, maybe in hindsight, looking through 2025 eyes, he's already a flawed hero when we find out why he's flying to LA
Well, yes.
and why he's not living in LA with his wife.
But that's number two of why you make him white knuckle those armrests. Because is he afraid of flying or is he nervous about what he's about to do?
Yeah.
Because we're about to find out what he's there to do.
Yeah. But the guy next to him does read it as being nervous to fly. And he's like, hey, I do this all
Yes.
the time. Here's what you do. Take your shoes off when you get to the hotel, walk around barefoot, and make little fists with your toes.
I do this in hotels. Not for this reason. I just do.
Does it do anything for you? I've never done it, so I don't know if it works. I don't even know what it's supposed to do. I've always thought this was just the reason he doesn't have shoes later. Like they had to set this
Right.
up for a reason for him to take off his shoes.
Yeah. I mean, and I think in the movie that's probably why. For me, it's because your feet swell when you fly.
Oh, okay.
And so it can make your feet really sore. And yes, I know about compression socks. They are equally uncomfortable for me. I'm not a fan.
Fair, okay.
My legs are too short, so they hit at the wrong point and like strangle below my knees. It's a whole thing. Anyway, but that means that, like, especially if you fly a lot, you kind of need to like get out of your shoes and get the blood flowing and,
Yeah.
get your feet back to kind of normal.
Fair.
I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, he gets up, he goes to get his luggage out of the overhead compartment, revealing a gun on a plane. He's a cop. Now, I don't even know if regular cops can take their guns on planes. I think it's just air marshals.
I hope not.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I fly all the time, and you don't really see any cops on planes that you know of, obviously. So
Right.
if they're allowed to, they're not like holding them out on their hip like like a on-duty cop would.
Right. Well, and like the last time I flew through New Orleans, they had a giant board of like, all of these guns are prohibited on planes. I was like, how about all guns? Like,
Right?
it's not a question of which, it's all. Like, what? But I guess if you're an air marshal or a cop, maybe you'd look on there and be like, oh no, I brought the wrong one. I don't know.
Oh, can I still bring my 3D printed one?
Ooh. Anyway, but this is where we find out he's a cop and he's been doing it for a long time. And he's got a giant bear that would never fit in the overhead compartment, but he's got it with him anyway, as if it did.
Almost the biggest, like, oh my God, this is a movie.
Yeah.
When he has a big ass bear in the overhead compartment. That would never fly now.
No, not only would it never fly, I don't even know where you'd buy one, but it is code for I've been a bad dad and I'm trying to make up for it with a giant Christmas present.
Yeah, I knew when he pulled that off the plane, I was like, oh, separated or divorced.
Exactly. But meanwhile, we cut to Nakatomi Plaza, where their Christmas party is in full swing, and we meet Holly. Holly, formerly McLean, now Gennaro, is reviewing papers for a big deal they signed off that day.
Yeah.
Who should walk in on her but Ellis, one of her coworkers who is already coked out, and the sun's not even down yet.
It's a party, Paige. Calm down.
It's the early 90s.
It's 88. It was 88.
Is it 88?
It's definitely coke fueled. Yeah, like.
It's the 80s.
Yeah.
But he asks her out and she says no. Very kind. She's like, hey, no, I got kids at home. It's Christmas, family. And he will not take no for an answer. That's our immediate clue that he's a bad person.
Yeah.
And we won't feel bad when he dies later.
No, we will not. But she does sort of like, she doesn't seem interested at all, is I guess what I'm trying to get
No.
across. Like she
Yeah.
shoots him down nicely, like she's kind about it, but like she doesn't at all seem like she's entertaining going on dates with Ellis. So, like, it still seems at this point like, okay, they're probably still married trying to figure out the distance thing.
Right. As soon as Ellis leaves the room, she stops and calls home to her kids and the housekeeper who is watching those kids.
Yeah.
And basically is like, Merry Christmas. And her daughter, Lucy, is like, well, will Dad be home? And she's like, you know what? I don't know. I'll talk to Santa. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
She then talks to the housekeeper and is like, hey, I didn't get a call from him. I don't know if he made that flight, but can you make up the spare room just in case? Which again tells us, the audience, they are not in so much conflict that they would not stay together,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Like in the same home.
Right.
Like they are planning to be together in one way or another. If not banging in the back of that limo, they're definitely banging in the back of that limo, then at least sleeping in the guest room.
Yeah. And listen, they'll probably be banging in the guest room
Yeah.
with John McClane.
Can you believe Shaggy sang at the Thanksgiving Day parade?
Yeah.
I love it when millennials are in charge of things.
I know. It's the best.
That was so good. I was like, what?
You had me eating up that turkey? Sorry.
Was me eating all the mashed potatoes. It was me.
Woo.
Anyway, so we cut to the airport again, where Argyle, the limo driver, is picking up John McClane from the airport. He didn't expect that. We don't know who ordered the limo. We will find out momentarily.
Well, he's holding a sign that says Nakatomi.
Yeah.
So it's like the corporation hired the guy, I guess.
Right. But we don't know if his wife did it or the boss did it.
Yeah, we find out who it was, but yeah, we don't know yet.
We find out who it was.
But he's like, it's the first time I've ever been in a limo. Like, he clearly didn't order it himself.
No, and Argyle's like, it's my first time driving a limo. Great.
Yeah.
What a team. And I love that we cut to them in the limo and he's in the front seat
Yeah.
of the limo and the bear's in the back, which is a very funny shot.
It's like the first time I took an Uber and I didn't know the rules. You know what I'm saying?
I always sit in the back, and it used to, when I drove for Lyft and Uber, it used to freak me out when people would sit in the front.
I get it when people sit in the front when, like, there are people in the back. Like, there's just too many people and the only seats available is in the front. Like, that makes sense. That's fine. But the first time I ordered an Uber, like, Steve pulled up and I got into his front seat and he kept looking behind him. And it was just like, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he literally said to me, hey, people usually sit in the back next time, just in case you didn't know that. I was like, thanks.
I mean, I always instinctively treated it like a taxi where I would get in the back. But when I was briefly driving for Lyft, I started to be really wary of people who would sit in the front because it was usually men who were creepy.
Shit, that's painfully true in my case. Yeah, fair. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, they turn on Christmas music. It is Run DMC. John McClane doesn't recognize it. It is a classic now.
Yeah.
Hindsight, 2020. But he takes him to the building and he tells him basically, hey, stick around. I don't know how happy the wife is going to be to see me. So like, I may need to hop in a car, hop back in this limo with you, drive to Pomona or wherever he's going to stay.
Yeah.
And, or find a hotel or whatever. So hang tight for a second.
I actually like that Argyle offers. He's like, what are your plans? Like, this is like a high risk thing.
Where are you staying?
And he's like, I'll figure it out. And he's like, hey man, I'll go park in the parking garage. Here's the number to the limo phone. Call me. If it goes well, great. I'll bring your bags in,
Right.
leave them with the security guard.
Yeah.
If it goes bad, come down. I'll go ahead and call a hotel for you and you'll be straight. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So it's like a really kind gesture from this guy.
Yes. But John goes up to the party. He immediately doesn't fit in. They offer him a drink. He doesn't like it. He puts it back on the tray. He's not dressed up. Everyone else is. A guy he does not know approaches and kisses him on the cheek. And he just goes, fucking California. But he then quickly finds Mr. Takagi, who is essentially the president of this location. We will find out there is an office in Tokyo, etc. later. But for this giant building, it's Mr. Takagi,
Yeah.
who is his wife's boss. And we'll find out that he was the one that basically arranged for the flights and the limos because he wanted to have John come in as kind of almost like a present for Holly, where
Yeah.
he's like, Holly had a great year. She's a great employee. I care about her a lot. She clearly cares about you. We made this happen.
Yeah. As your wife's boss, I order you to figure out this marriage stuff and you move out here. All right.
Yes.
He's not doing that though. He's just being like super nice and being like, hey, wouldn't it be great if you were here all the time kind of a thing? And I kind of get why you do that. If you're afraid your like best employee, at least in this continent, might quit because her husband wants her to move back to New York.
This is also a really valuable writing scene where something this movie does incredibly well is they take what sounds like small talk and layer exposition in. So it is in this conversation where he's like, nice building you got here. And he's like, yeah, it'll be nice once we finish the construction. The top 3 floors. And that's information we as the viewer need to calculate where John McClane is through the building through the rest of the movie. But it is cleverly slipped in as small talk.
Yeah, that's how we learn the floors above this are not finished yet, right? And so we see them in those floors. Yeah.
Yep.
It is a really good like weaving of that in. And they actually do that in a lot of Die Hard movies where like
a ton
on the TV, news reports will come up that are just like in the background that are still related, which like, yeah, it's a really, really well done thing. Like there's no wasted dialogue at all.
No, it's great. But they run into his wife and he's like, hey, is there somewhere I can kind of like chill out, wash up or whatever? And she's like, yeah, let me take you to my office. She gets to her office and Ellis was waiting there doing rails on her desk. Clearly, he thought he was going to take another stab at that whole date thing.
He was definitely trying to stab at that hole, yeah.
Yeah.
But neither Holly nor John are cool with it.
No. And it seems like Mr. Chikage not super cool with it either.
Yeah, he's like, hey, bro, this is Holly's husband, a cop.
Yeah.
Like he literally says a New York cop as he's like messing with his nose trying to get the white powder off of it. And then as John walks past him, he's like, you missed some.
Yeah, you missed some.
This shit was so funny. Ellis is such a douche.
He's such a douche. But we also introduce Holly's Chekhov's Rolex.
Yeah. Oh, man. When Holly comes in, because he does sort of meet Takage and Ellis without Holly, who is like, I think, faxing something somewhere.
Right.
And as she comes back into the office, we kind of do see how much she loves John.
Of
Like she like
course.
stops and like catches her breath a little bit. And it's actually, even though it's not really played up, she crushes that scene.
She crushes it. This is Jake was popping in and out as he was like helping clean up from last night.
Yeah.
We're recording this on Black Friday. And I commented, I was like, damn, like 80s Bruce Willis. And he was like, I know, man. Like, yes.
And it's not like an overly muscular look either. It's just like firm, you know?
You just know he could get shit done.
Clearly. When she comes in and Ellis is like, show him the watch because he bought her a Rolex or whatever. It's just like the most douchey thing.
For closing a huge deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the watch kind of made sense to me, actually, which I didn't make sense to me as much as a child when I saw this movie. I was like, I thought as a kid, I was like, they must have been dating because he got her like a really expensive gift. But like as you grow up and realize that like buying someone a watch after closing like a multi-million or like $100 million deal like that is pretty common, actually.
It's super common.
So yeah, like I have a friend who closed a deal for a record label here in town that was multiples of $100 million, and he didn't see a cut of that. Well, he did get quite a handly bonus, but also a really nice watch out of it, you know?
Yeah.
So like commonly that'll happen when deals like that close. But I missed that completely when I was a kid because I always had the impression that like Holly was cheating on John technically, even though they were separated, and it was just like fine between them because they were separated. But that's not really what's happening.
No.
I was wrong as a child.
Yeah, not at all. And like to reinforce your watch argument, one time I was in a comedy competition where the prizes were watches, and very nice watches, but they were all men's watches. So I did not win. A friend of mine at the time won, and they were like, I guess we could return it and see if we could get a lady watch.
That's so subtly shitty. Like that's the reason I laughed. Like it's offensive that they wouldn't have. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like, but also like, there are so many dudes who would be like, of course there's not a woman's watch. It's a comedy competition.
It's a comedy competition.
It's the worst.
The woman who won it chose to wear the men's watch.
Hell yeah. That's what I was going to suggest. But like,
Yes.
obviously like get whatever watch you want, you know, like.
Sure.
Yeah, I would do that too, probably.
Yeah. I honestly, same. I wear a unisex watch when I wear a watch, but it looks a little more just kind of generic as opposed to feminized or masculinized.
Aren't they all uni? Because they only have one circle on, like one big circle on them, right?
One giant circle on it.
They only have one clock face.
But I did, in watching this today, because I had totally forgotten about the watch until watching it today, I was kind of struck by that because by the time we see the watch at the end, it is a kind of feminized watch. It's it's thin straps, you know, whatever. And I was like, oh, wow, the idea that they would still buy women watches for business stuff. Because I don't know many women who would be like, please buy me a watch. That's not something we would necessarily request. Some people might. I feel like that is a leftover thing from when business like that was male dominated, and it has just never been updated because it's still kind of male dominated.
Honestly, like, I wouldn't want a Rolex, man. I'd rather just have that cash in my checking account.
Same.
Like, I got an Apple Watch, and it like tracks stuff for me that I actually kind of care about, so I wouldn't want to replace that. So I don't need 2 watches, but like, I'll just take the $30K or whatever you were going to spend on that. Like,
Right. There's like I guess a meme, if you want to think of it, sort of, in the comedy community among really successful comedians, that they become shoe guys and then watch guys and then car guys.
yeah, as they get more wealthy. Yeah.
As they get more wealthy, but they like literally go through the stages, and you can like predict how much money somebody is making by what they're now into.
Yeah.
I do think it is notable that it is guys in all of those lists, but
Yeah, and it's not just comedy. It's like any
Yeah.
success. Yeah.
yeah.
I struggle with that, even though I've gotten to a place of success, just because I grew up really poor, and like, clothes are like, they serve a purpose. Like, I buy my hoodies at like Uniqlo. Like, I would never spend the money on like a Supreme thing. Like, I just like don't care.
Here's the thing. If I like something and it happens to be expensive, but I like it, cool.
Yeah, I buy expensive shit that's like,
That I like.
yes,
Right?
yes, I do
Right.
stupid things too. It just isn't clothes, you know?
Well, and even clothes, it's one of those things where I don't really care about the designer on it. If I like it and I think it's worth that money, I pay it.
Yeah, sure.
But
yeah.
I agree, where I feel like the things that I would spend a lot of money on tend more towards practicality or experiences.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, let's fly and go somewhere or whatever, or do something, or let's book a thing that we would have never had a chance to do, like a cooking class or whatever.
Let's go get engaged in Europe on a literary tour of Europe, ending at the place where this, Lewis Carroll wrote. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's what I like to spend the money on.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting to see who goes which way when they get money, because some people go watch or shoes watch car, and then other people you would never know they were rich, but then they're like, yeah, when I was meditating in Bali, and you're like, I see it now.
Yeah.
Nice plain sweatshirt that probably cost $300.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
Yeah, that's how you know people are really rich. No designer labels, but like all merino wool. Quality.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you want passion? Do you want tension? I know you want action. Danielle L. Jensen's Saga of the Unfaded duology is complete. Duology, that's 2. Double the fantasy, double the fun. It's ready to be your next great fantasy romance binge. Saga of the Unfaded is a Norse-inspired fantasy romance duology, again that's 2, from the best-selling author of the Bridge Kingdom series. Book 1 is A Fate Inked in Blood. You'll fall in love with Freya. She's a shield maiden with a secret gift, and her forbidden love interest, Bjorn. You know we love Bjorn. She's blessed by the gods and battles to unite a nation under a power-hungry king, while also fighting her growing desire for his fiery son. Remember when we talked about Bjorn? It's Bjorn. Then, experience the epic conclusion to their high-stakes saga in book number 2, A Curse Carved in Bone. That's like one of the hardest places to carve things. I mean, while the bones are still in your body. Like outside your body, I'm sure it's fine. A Curse Carved in Bone is about a shield maiden. That's Freya. That's our girl Freya. She's going to fight to break the shackles of prophecy in this searing conclusion to the Saga of the Unfaded fantasy romance duology. Because trilogies are for nerds, yo. It's captivating, it's sexy, or at least that's what Elise Kova said to USA Today, and she's the author of A Deal with the Elf King, so you know she knows what's up. A Fate Inked in Blood and A Curse Carved in Bone are available now everywhere books are sold. So wrap yourself in a cozy blanket, get yourself your hot drink of choice, and curl up with Saga of the Unfaded.
Anyway, this is where she gets the Rolex watch. I know we've been talking about watches and shit for like 10 minutes, but like...
Well, she's already wearing it. It's a watch that she may have gotten it that day, but she's wearing it.
Yeah. So everyone kind of leaves. Takage kind of ushers Ellis out.
Yeah.
And she asks, she's like, hey, John, like, where are you staying? And he's like, oh, I was going to stay with my friend in Pomona. And she's like, no, that's far. And the kids would love to have you in the house. Like, I have a spare bedroom. Please just come stay with us. So this is our clue that, like, she is open to some sort of reconciliation. And he is, like, about to agree when somebody bursts in trying to have sex in this office. They will have sex in the office, one office over. We'll see them again in just a bit.
Yeah.
But he can't help but pick at the fact that she's now Holly Gennaro, not Holly McClane.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, hey, what about this name? And she's like, it was my professional name. It's not a big thing. Like, I still want to talk about. And they get interrupted because Mr. Takagi wants her to talk to the team because she's like number 2 in command, essentially.
So I think socially she's number 2 in command. She's, I think, number 3 in command because Takagi, I think, is a part of like Nakatomi, the corporation at like a much higher level, but he's in the U.S.
Right.
Probably because he was born in Kyoto. We actually get his whole like life resume in a second.
Oh, wait for it because I want to talk about it later. But yes.
I think Ellis is his technical number 2, and I think Holly is his number, like under, maybe not Ellis, but like in the org close to the top because she's eyeing Ellis's job. She says it in the movie because John is like, he's got his eyes on you, and she goes, well, I got my eyes on his private bathroom.
Well, she wants his office. I don't know that she wants his job because he's head of international sales and she is something else.
Right.
But
he's head of sales for this like U.S. branch of the Nakatomi Corporation. Ellis is.
No. I think she's this branch and he's international because he makes a point to say that he's dealt with international people and the Europeans and the whatever. And they introduce him as head of international sales. But
I thought Nakatomi, we're talking about a fake corporation structure.
It
but like,
doesn't exist.
In my mind, they were like headquartered in Tokyo. And this was their U.S. office.
Yes. And I do think that's true.
And that would be international sales. Like he would be international sales, even though he was in the U.S.
Yes.
But not that any of this matters because
it is
it's a made-up company. Yeah.
I do love what Takagi says, where he's like, Pearl Harbor didn't work out, so we got you with tape decks. And I was like, what a great line. It's so fun.
But he grew up largely in America.
Oh, we will talk about it when we get to Takagi because there's one throwaway line that is one of the most interesting parts.
I know.
That I was like, I didn't even think about that. Anyway, we'll get to it in a second. This movie is layered.
It is.
Anywho, John goes into her bathroom to change. Carpet in a bathroom? Crazy. But this is where he does the feet thing, right? Who puts carpet in a bathroom?
People who sit down on the toilet to pee every time. And I only say that because they probably don't really consider the spillage as much as they should.
Yeah, you're never going to use a plunger? Like, come on. Like,
yeah, I know. Like, listen, I would never. Like, there's no way that carpet is not just riddled with literal shit.
Just smells like piss the whole time.
Yeah.
Awful. Anyway, while this is all happening, downstairs, Alan Rickman and his crew park the truck down at the bottom near the limo and come in through the front door, shoot the doorman, and immediately lock that building fucking down.
Yeah. This is all happening while John McClane is in the bathroom that smells like R. Kelly's bedroom.
Oh, dark but true. Look. Plastic sheets exist for a reason. And consensually, only with other consensual adults who want to do this with you, plastic sheets.
Just like Dexter.
Just like Dexter, or is it Horrible Bosses where they hire someone for wet work because they think it's murder?
Yeah, it is.
And he just brings like a tarp.
Yeah.
Anyway, they lock off all the gates to the building so there's no doors to exit, and they lock all the elevators, basically locking everyone on the 30th floor, including John McClane and his wife and the party.
The scene when they come out of the elevator and it's like playing the like Christmas carols or whatever, and it's like the party chatter going on and they're just like pouring out of the elevator with like automatic weapons. Mm-hmm. It's a really effective, cool shot.
Oh yeah, because nobody immediately... Now here's the thing. I think modern day, because of the way shootings have, like exponentially increased in our day to day, I think people would have freaked out way earlier. Modern day.
Well, I just don't think they saw them because, the party's going on and everyone's kind of back is more or less turned, or they're far enough away that they're not really looking at who's coming off the elevator, Right. And so like once it's clear what's going on, people start to scramble and lose their minds, but.
They do, but a couple people see them and have a moment of like guns before and I think modern day people would be like, run!
Yeah.
Just like immediate.
Yeah.
But they start firing into the air to kind of let people know that they're there. They kind of herd everyone into that central room except for John McClane and the few people in offices. And they go and pull people out of offices. But as they're doing that, John slips into the emergency exit and climbs up at least 1 to 2 floors to the floors that are not complete.
Yeah.
Now, meanwhile, they send guys up to basically cut the wiring so the phones are dead.
I love that during this section, everyone starts doing a bunch of shit. It's clear the terrorists, quote unquote, are a big team. We find out they're 13 initially.
Right.
And everyone has a specific job to do and they're doing it, which I love because they don't tell you, the viewer, what they're doing.
Right.
Sometimes they do in the moment. Most of the time they don't. And every one of them has like a reason for being there and like a job to do. And it's clear that Alan Rickman is like the Moriarty, but more hands-on.
Yes.
Because Moriarty would never actually do a crime.
Right.
But Alan Rickman is. He wants to be there to do it. But he's the guy who came up with the plan and he knows it. He's like the team leader. Like, I love how thought out the terrorists are, man. It's so good.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't even want to say terrorists because they're really just robbers.
Right.
They don't care about the like people they're, quote, getting out of prison.
That's a distraction.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of love that. And also, they're doing it for $640 million in 88, which would be the equivalent of $1.75 billion today. So I get it.
In a slightly later scene, we'll cover it then, we find out that that is the equivalent of 10 days of the operating capital of Nakatomi Industries.
What?
Yes. I wrote it down because I was like, I'm sorry, what?
That's an insane amount of money that they're
an
like
insane amount of
pumping
money.
through that company. That's insane.
That's Amazon numbers right there.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking nuts.
I mean, good for them. I didn't realize tape decks were selling that hot in the 80s, but I guess.
I mean, it was the 80s.
Yeah.
But while this is happening, while they're cutting all the wires and everything, John is on the phone with Argyle, and Argyle's like, hey, have you figured out, are you staying with her or whatever yet? And he's like, the vote's not in. Can you stay? And as they're having that conversation, the line goes dead.
Yeah.
And Argyle's like, well, he knows the number, he'll call back. Argyle will pop in a few other times through the movie, but for now, we're going to leave him for a bit, blissfully unaware in the parking lot that a terrorism is happening.
Yo, I'm going to be honest with you. Argyle has the best ride through this movie.
Oh, yes.
He parks, chills, calls his girlfriend, drinks champagne with an oversized bear, punches one dude, does wreck a limo, but
That's it.
kind of can say that he helped stop the terrorist event that happened at
100%.
Nakatomi Plaza, but he spent 90% of the time chilling in a limo drinking champagne. And I'm not saying he's not a hero. He is. He did stop one of the terrorists.
Sure.
So hero, but John had a way worse time is all I'm saying.
John had a way worse time. Meanwhile, the party, now a hostage situation, has continued.
Right.
All the phones are down. He is now 1 floor above them, trying to figure out how to contact somebody on the outside. He sees a phone across the way, so he knows that it's just their building that doesn't have phones.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Alan Rickman is doing his villain speech. And this is where he's like, I need to see Mr. Takage. And this is so interesting and is a throwaway line in this movie. But if you know your history, fucking incredibly fascinating.
What line is it? Say what it is.
The interned at Manzanar.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the way that that Alan Rickman says it, it sounds like Mr. Takage was an intern
No.
at Manzanar and not was interned
Right.
at Manzanar, which is an internment camp.
Yes, in America.
In America, in California specifically, I believe. Yes.
Well, I don't know where it was, but I know it was a U.S. internment camp for the Japanese during World War II.
Yeah, so Manzanar is here in California.
Okay.
There were a number of internment camps in California. A lot of them are here. It is our state, one of many state shames, including eugenics and all of the indigenous peoples that died in the colonization of our state. But the internment camps, also a huge shame. Also recently, and look, if you didn't know why Californians were super angry at ICE in general, I don't know what to tell you, but it added insult to injury that ICE was staging at some of the historical internment camp sites. Many of them are now monuments and museums to inform people so that this shit never happens again. So for ICE to come in and deliberately take those sites to then intern people, but probably worse, is so offensive. It's spitting on history. It's spitting on victims. It's fucking disgusting. I'm glad we burned the Waymos. We could have burned more. But It is an interesting facet of this movie for Mr. Takagi to have basically grown up in America, been interned in Manzanar, and then come out of Manzanar and start working with a number of different companies to then work his way up to being in charge of the American arm of the Nakatomi Corporation in conjunction with the Tokyo office.
He more or less, I think he was born in like 36.
He's born in 36. They come to the U.S. in 39.
I thought that's what it was. So he was like a baby. He was like 3 years old when he moved to the U.S. And then and the reason it stuck out to me and the reason I looked it up this time and the reason, because I didn't know any of this until this time.
Yeah.
But I was like, he did an internship somewhere before he went to college? That's so weird. So I like looked at, I was watching the subtitles, so I looked it up. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, I never would have noticed that. But it's just that the fact that it's, quote, like out of order to how you might end up in a, internship.
Right.
And that's because that is kind of the way he delivers that line.
It is the way he delivers that line. And because I grew up here, this is part of the history I learned in school growing up.
Sure, yeah.
I was like, they had interns at Manzanar? And then I was like, oh, wait, internment camp. Like, they were interned at Manzanar. And I was like, man, Alan Rickman, that delivery really messing with history a bit. But yes, so honestly, it made me like Mr. Takagi more. Not that I ever disliked him, but he dies fairly early in the film.
Takagi's a badass in this movie.
He's a fucking badass in this movie.
Yeah.
This is a man who went through horrible things in his life to basically become the head of this corporation. And I think he thinks he's trying to help people by delaying the information and doesn't realize that Hans is the kind of man who's just going to fucking shoot him.
Yeah.
So, yes. But Holly is like, don't say anything, just, let them walk through. But he comes forward. He's like, stop hassling my people. I'm Mr. Takagi. And he goes with them up to floor 32, where their models are for a new outpost in Indonesia, which I think is largely going to be a factory based on the model. And then a few, like a model of what the building will eventually be.
And there's a bridge in there too that's a different project. But yeah, I got the idea this is like their model floor where they show the various projects off.
Yeah.
Oh, it's also his office. His office is up here too. Yeah.
And John McClane has now climbed to this floor and is kind of unwittingly surprised by the terrorists because he's like looking around and all of a sudden the terrorists come into like the room he's in.
Yeah.
And he's kind of backed out of the door, but he can hear them.
Yeah.
And hides under the model table. But this is where they basically tell him, like, look, we're not actually terrorists. We're robbers. We just want all of these bonds that you have in the basement of the building or in the vault, not necessarily the basement.
Yeah.
On floor 30. But then, they're all of these bonds. We want them. It's $640 million, which he does say is 10 days operating capital for Nakatomi Industries.
That's crazy.
And this is where he's like, for you, it's a temporary inconvenience. Like, don't worry about it.
And it's clear Alan Rickman has money because he like calls what suit Takagi is wearing and is like, I get my suits there too.
Yeah, they're from like a tailor in London.
Yeah.
But at this point, he's like, you just got to tell us the code. And Takagi is like, look, I could tell you that code. It's not going to help you. There's 7 locks to get to the vault, and that's only one of them. And I don't have the ability to unlock the rest of them. I can't tell you. Now, here's the thing. We don't know if that's true or not. We'll never find out.
Well, we do find out that there are other locks. And like,
yes,
Alan Rickman only knows how they're going to get through that last one at this point.
Right. But we don't know about the others. And it's possible that Takagi could have gotten them through, but he doesn't. He basically says, like, I don't know anything. I don't. And so they shoot him.
Yeah.
And the shock of that causes John McClane to kind of like move. And so they see that he's there and chase him.
Yeah.
Now, meanwhile, they leave a guy there to start breaking the code. He breaks the first code easy, but now he's going to be kind of continually breaking the code as our ticking time bomb through the movie.
Yeah. That's Theo. Theo's one of my favorites.
Theo is a fascinating character.
Yeah.
It's rare that you give a character that has so little screen time so much personality and character.
Yeah.
But the script does, and then the actor also enhances that too. It's really great.
Yeah, I would say half of the terrorists all have stories that like inform their character. There are some people who are more or less just there to be like body count.
Right.
But the majority of the main terrorists all have like an arc in this movie, which is crazy.
Right, because like Heinrich and Karl are brothers.
It's Heinrich. That's his brother's name. Okay.
Yeah.
He's the first one that dies. Yeah.
He's the first one that dies. And that's the backpack that John gets literally moments from now.
Yeah.
But As he's running, John hopes that Argyle heard the shots. We cut to Argyle. He did not hear the shots. This is when he's drinking champagne with the bear. He's just chilling.
Yeah.
But at this point, John has kind of eluded, the terrorists for the moment. He's gone back up into floor 32, which is still under construction. And he's trying to figure out how to get the cops or someone there without a phone. And he doesn't have a radio yet.
Right.
So he pulls the fire alarm. And at this point, they're like, we'll call the fire department and tell them to cancel it, tell them it was a malfunction. But what floor was that on? Because now we got to check that out. They don't fully know that John exists yet, but they know that something must have pulled the alarm, and we need to know what it is.
And they're correctly assuming that a party goer was not rounded up in the initial roundup, and they're just going to get that last party goer.
Right.
Which is why when Heinrich goes up there, he turns on all the lights as John's hiding, and he's saying things like, hey, just like, come on out. We'll bring you down. I won't hurt you. We'll bring you down with the other people, right? Of course, he's lying.
He was not going to. He was fully going to shoot him, but yes.
He fully reveals that he was going to kill him, and John doesn't fall for it, and he pops out, grabs him, and they fight.
He ends up choking him to death.
Well, I don't know if he chokes him to death or he breaks his neck in a fall down the stairs. Either way, he dies.
He dies. And this is where John basically dresses him up, puts him in the elevator, dresses him up like Santa, and then writes on his shirt, "Now I have a machine gun, ho, ho, ho."
Ho, ho, ho.
And sends it down in the elevator. Now, he's now at the top of the elevator because he's kind of watching from above as they come to investigate the body. And he's taking notes on his arm of who is still around, who is who, and who is dead. So we know that Carl is still alive, but Heinrich, his brother, is dead. And he knows that Hans is the ringleader, and he's written out a handful of other names as well.
And he's trying to take numbers of how many of them are there, so he knows as much as possible about them. It's really smart.
It's super smart. He rides the elevator all the way up and then ducks out onto a landing, which basically gives him an access panel to the roof. Or rather, the access panel to the stairs that eventually lead to the roof, I should say. And it's got the Playboys taped to it.
Yeah.
And my favorite is when he comes back as he's tracking where he is in the vents. He's like, ladies.
I think he says girls or whatever.
Girls,
He touches it. He girls. Yeah.
But Hans and Carl. Carl is pissed. He's like, he killed my brother, prepare to die. And Hans is like, can you just wait till the cops get here and then we'll kill time and you could look all over for him. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's clear that Hans's plan is an hours long plan, not a smash and grab by this scene right here.
Right.
Because he's like, just come down here. We'll get to the point where the police show up and then we'll have a few hours and you can just destroy the building, finding him and killing him then.
Right. And then we cut to the hostages where Ellis, still doing rails off his hand with the hostages, turns to Holly and is like, why is John fucking? Because at this point, they realize somebody is in the mix fucking things up. They know it's John because he's unaccounted for. And Ellis is like, why is he fucking this up? If we just give him what they want, we could get out of here. And she says, because I feel like Holly understands who Hans is, who these people are, in the sense that they're not going to let us get out. They're going to kill us. They do not care. Tell that to Takagi is what she says. Because it's they just shot the one guy who'd have the codes.
Yeah.
So clearly this is not going to go as simply as you think it is.
And also we can see all their faces. They're going to kill us. Part of the plan is to kill us all.
Right.
I mean, she doesn't say that, but that's what I would assume if
Same.
that happened,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But John gets to the roof and he's got Heinrich's bag, which does have the detonators and the C4 in it, but also has the walkie-talkie. And so he goes to Channel 9, which is both the terrorist channel and he can get to emergency services from up there. This is one of those things where I think this would go very, very differently in a world that has cell phones. But without it, we're kind of limited to this party line channel that everyone else is on. So the terrorists can hear that he is basically telling emergency services their stuff, and the only place he could probably broadcast from is the roof.
Yeah, he literally gets on the radio and is like, Mayday, Mayday. We have a terrorist situation at Nakatomi Plaza, and this lady from the dispatch comes on and is like, this channel is reserved for emergencies. And you just hear him go, yeah, no fucking shit, lady. Do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza? And it's it's one of the lines I never forgot from this movie. It stuck with me.
Oh, yeah.
And then eventually she is arguing with John, but like John has to stop because shots are being fired at him.
Right.
And so she like hears the shots and she's like, see if a black and white can do a drive-by. So like, see if a patrol car can do a drive-by more or less.
Right. And this is where Reginald Val Johnson enters the chat.
Breaking the stereotype that cops love donuts in the worst way possible. Like,
But we explain, because he's at a convenience store buying,
Yeah.
I think they're like hand pies.
or ho-hos or something like that. It's like little hostess cakes kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's getting a ton of them, and he explains to the cashier, my wife is pregnant, she's craving these, and she's going to be so mad it took hours for
Yeah.
them to get home.
And she's going to be like, yeah, some terrorist situation that you helped solve. Sure.
Great.
Like, turn on the news, babe. Turn on the news. I swear to God.
Oh, God. But so he rolls through Nakatomi Plaza. Everything looks in order. Nothing looks weird. But he does see the doorman, which we know is a terrorist masquerading as a doorman.
Yeah.
So he kind of gets out and goes to talk to him.
When he actually walks out, and this is like 88. This is such a well-done movie. He walks out of the gas station and looks up and sees Nakatomi Plaza, and we see the gunfight that John McClane is currently in. We see like the white lights of the guns being shot at each other from like really far away, but he can't hear it, so he doesn't really recognize that it's not just like lights that are up there on the helipad or whatever.
It just looks like the helipad. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't blame him for not being like, no, there's a gun battle going on right now, because it does just look like blinking lights
Right.
at the distance he's at. But it cuts right to them having the gun battle. It's
Right.
really well done. Like, the edit, everything is really well done.
It's really well done because they are having a gun battle, and he eventually shoots the lock off, gets back into essentially the vents, has to like hold a fan so he can get through, and then drop down an elevator shaft to grab onto a vent and like climb through the vent. This is where we get the like, come up to the coast,
Yeah.
have a few laughs. Very famous.
This is also a pretty dumb thing that he does, because he lights that lighter so like we can see his face when he's in that vent. It also lets Carl know what floor he's on.
Right.
Because he sees the light of the lighter.
Well, and it allows him to then go like find him and then test the vents.
Yeah, after putting bullets through a bunch of them, like, he's pretty lucky he didn't get further into that room, because Carl would have shot him.
Right. But because the police have arrived, they get called back down. So they go back down. And meanwhile, Al, our police friend, has walked in, is talking to the doorman. The doorman's like, yeah, it's, they're still working on the building construction. It's been kind of buggy. I don't know.
Yeah, that computer's been having problems since we installed it, like that whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's 88 and it's a computer. Like, I probably would be like, yeah, these newfangled things.
Who knows? But he takes a walk around and very quickly is like, there's nothing here. And he gets back in the car. But by now, John McClane has gotten back out onto one of the floors that he had access to, and he has killed the guy that was with Carl, whatever that guy's name was.
Yeah, he was the guy with the detonators, actually. It's this guy he gets
Right,
the detonators
right.
from. But yeah, it's the other guy who was with Carl.
Right. And so at that point, he sees the policeman is going to leave. And so he basically tosses that guy's body
Yeah.
onto the car and fires at the car, causing Reginald Val Johnson to like quick back up over like the side of the parking lot down onto the next level or whatever, wrecking his car.
Yeah.
But it causes him to call for backup.
Oh, yeah. Do you think that the person shooting at the cop car was John McClane?
Yes.
Yeah, so I have some doubt about that.
Interesting. Tell me about it.
Because John McClane pushes the body out the window onto his car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was in front of the front entrance, right?
Right.
I'm pretty sure the window shooting at him is off to the side of the building, not above the entrance. I've always thought it was John McClane, but when I watched it
too.
this time and I saw it was like a window that wasn't above the entrance, I was like, and maybe this is just like a continuity thing.
I think this might just be a continuity thing.
Because I also don't love that John was shooting at another cop, so I'm looking for a reason to apologize for it.
Sure.
But like, yeah.
But he does ask him later if it was him, and he says it was him.
Oh, does he? Okay, yeah, I must have missed that. Yeah, that's so funny.
But again, he does shoot like towards the front of the car.
Yeah, he's not trying to shoot into the car. Yeah.
Right. And I think in the grand scheme of things, it is what brings the police there.
Yeah.
I'll excuse him for it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he could have heard gunshots if they were shot, further off, maybe into space or whatever. Although guns don't shoot bullets into space. They come back down somewhere. So yeah.
Somewhere, yes. But on the radio, as Al is calling it into dispatch, the news reporters hear about it. And now that guy is like, I need a truck to get out there right fucking now. And I do love the like argument they have with the newsroom where he's like, eat a dick, Gary, or whatever he says.
You immediately know this guy on the corner, like the man on the street, is a douche.
Yes, it's eat it, Harvey,
Yeah.
is what he says. Eat it, Harvey.
And Harvey is like in the middle of the countdown back live. You know what I'm saying? So Harvey is like frozen for a second and then turns towards the camera. It was very funny.
Yeah. I'm Harvey Burgundy. Like that's, he looks so confused into the camera.
He does pull a Ron Burgundy later when he's like, and that's Helsinki, Sweden. And they're like,
Yeah.
Finland.
Because we didn't want to say Stockholm Syndrome.
Exactly. Yeah.
But they send the truck. The truck is on its way. The cops are on their way. And at this point, Hans seems very calm about this. He's like, well, they're on their way. They'll be here. But we need those detonators because if Heinrich is outside or whoever the guy they killed is outside, I think it's Marco.
Yeah.
Marco's outside. That means they no longer have the detonators and the cops are coming.
Yeah.
So they get on the walkie-talkie with John and they're like, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but like, why don't you stand down and let us do our terrorist shit and we won't kill you? And this is where we get our first instance of yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because fuck you, I am going to be the Roy Rogers, and that is why they call him Roy. And I'm going to fight for this. And now here's the thing. Do they know that the reason why he's fighting for this is because his wife is in the building? No. They just think he's a good guy set on doing good, which I do think McClane does have a bit of a justice bone in his body, but I think most of this is about saving his wife.
I would assume so too. Yeah.
Yep. But as that's happening, Theo has now gotten through 3 of the locks and is working on a 4th. So their plan is still in motion.
Yeah. But this is where it sets up like hey, I can get through the other 4 locks, but I'm not going to be able to get through the electromagnetic lock. So like, and this is when Hans is like, hey, Theo, calm down. It's Christmas. It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah.
He like does not tell them his plan. It's so funny to me.
Perhaps a Christmas miracle. I can't do a good Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman's so good in this movie, though. It's
He's so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so John gets back on the walkie-talkie and connects with Powell, Al, who's the guy in the car. And he's like, hey, did you fucking shoot at me and throw a body? And he's like, yeah, sorry about that. But here's what's going on. The terrorists can hear us right now, and they are trigger happy. There's 30 hostages. We got to find we're waiting on the FBI, all of these stuff. He's like, they're European. There's only 9 of them now. Cigarettes and clothes is how I found out they were European. And they have really good fake IDs. So this was probably planned.
Yeah.
Really well.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the LAPD rolls up. And immediately the chief is just like, fuck anything you know, we're going in there. And you're like, no, LAPD.
I love, though, how terribly they play the LAPD police. It's so funny to me.
Pretty accurate.
Everyone except for Al, who just seems like a good guy. And if you think Al doesn't have like a really like impactful story arc, you're crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Al gets one. It's awesome.
It's great. I do love the turn of the chief where the chief comes in. He's like, we got this handled. And then later he's just like, oh, I hope that wasn't a hostage. Like the arc of the chief is great.
Yeah.
But they decide that they're going to try and breach the building. Now, obviously Hans has planned for this. So he sets up people with guns on the first floor for when they get close enough to the windows that they can shoot out the windows and wound them. But then he also has them shoot out the lights so people can't see the building.
Yeah. Well, and they're also rushing to set up the literal missiles they brought.
Yeah,
They're like
yeah.
rockets, more or less.
Yeah, that they like bolt down into the ground. It's
Yeah.
like it's like a ground to air missile launcher. And Al the whole time is like, they're shooting out the light. Like they're going to,
Yeah.
I warned you, they're terrorists. They're going to get you. Like, what's happening? And he's talking to John McClane the whole time. And he's like, John McClane's like, what are they doing? And he's like, I know, I told them, don't worry about it. But they send almost like the Rumbler from Dark Knight or whatever they call it, the Tumbler, like one of those, which LAPD does have. Like when shit gets dark and weird, those roll down streets sometimes.
They have scarier ones than that. They have like with battering rams in the front that'll just like mow down a whole house. Yeah.
Well, and they can hold a ton of guys on the side.
Yeah.
They have like handrails. So like during the George Floyd protests, they would roll down the street and they would do it slow and guys would just like hop off the sides. It was fucking dystopian as fuck.
Yeah.
It was terrifying. But they bring one of those around the side. And the terrorists are ready for him. They set up their missile launcher and they immediately firebomb that truck thingy.
They hit it twice. Yeah. But this is where John McClane like gets the C4 that's in his bag, puts in a few detonators, and then like puts a monitor on top of it and then like pushes it down the elevator.
Computer bomb.
And it just like destroys the floor that the guys with the missiles are on.
Right. So he just got 2 more, essentially, dead. So he then calls back down and is like, what the fuck were you guys doing? They're like, what the fuck are you doing? You blew up part of the building. And he's like, yeah, and killed 2 terrorists while you guys look like idiots on TV.
You're welcome. And then the police chief is like, yeah, I got people down here covered in glass. And he goes, glass? Who gives a shit about glass? Which is funny to me because he's going to give a shit about glass here in a second.
Yes.
But also, he like totally clowns the chief. He's like, I'm the one doing something. You're down there with your dick in your hand, Dwayne. Like he like really talks down to him. And I really do think it's probably because he doesn't get along with his police chief back in New York and he's taking out some stuff. But I love it.
Absolutely. And I desperately want him to get back to his police chief in New York and for it to be full Lethal Weapon of like, I'm sick and tired of this shit.
Yeah.
Like calls from LA, you blowing up buildings. Give me your badge and your gun. Like that. I want it.
That's very Beverly Hills Cop right there, though.
Anyway, this is where, meanwhile, in the hostage area, Ellis gets a dumb cocaine idea.
I love that he does a bump and then is like, I can solve this, which is exactly my perception of what cocaine must be like.
Oh, yeah. He's like grinding his teeth and is like, I can solve this and create an app that brings dogs to space. Like that kind of.
Yeah.
You're like, the Russians already tried it.
Oh, yeah. Mission failed successfully, I guess.
One of my favorite museum, air quotes, in Los Angeles has a whole room of just dogs of the Soviet space program.
Oh.
And it's just like a thing about each dog and art around them. It's actually really cool. But this is where Alex gets up. He's like, I can handle European douchebags. And he just like walks and he's like, I want to talk to Hans. Walks into the office and is like, sprechen Sie talk, which is insane because sprechen means talk.
Yeah.
Like
he says, talk any talk at him.
Talk any talk.
Which is, honestly, I thought it was hilarious. Like I was like, ha, idiot.
Dummy. And he's like, I could give you that guy. And it's just like, oof. He also says something.
I mean, he literally walks in and Hans is like, what do you want? He's like, it's not what I want, babe. It's what I could give you. It's like the douchiest person in this situation loaded on cocaine.
Loaded on cocaine and saying some horrible slurs too. Like,
oh, yeah.
He is a bad guy. They make sure in this scene for these few minutes before he takes a bullet to the face that we hate him so much that we will not be, we'll be like, fucking finally.
This is not like when Takage died, who's the other person who died from this company. You're kind of like, thank God he did this before John McClane had to.
Right. But meanwhile, we cut up to John McClane on, I believe, floor 31 again, where he's eating Twinkies out of the lunch boxes that construction guys have left there.
And Al is walking him through what's in it from memory.
Yes. And he's like, how many kids you got? He's like, my wife's working on my first one. I've got 2 kids. Hey, maybe they'll play on a jungle gym together someday. That's great. But as that's happening, Hans pipes in and is like, hey, because again, this is a party line. Everyone can hear it.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I got one of your friends here. He wants to talk to you. And he puts Ellis on. And now John McClane realizes in this moment how stupid Ellis is. Because, like, dogs have no desire to go to space.
Right?
This is not a problem that needed solving.
No.
Right?
Sorry, Cosmonaut Lakia, or however you pronounce that dog's name. Laika, yeah. Ugh.
Laika. Cosmodog, Laika.
Cosmodog.
John realizes that one of 2 things has happened. Either Ellis has told Hans about his wife, which means his wife is in mortal danger, or Ellis has misrepresented himself.
Which is what happened. Thank God, honestly.
Thank God. And he knows that they're going to kill people to get to him. Like, Ellis's cocaine confidence is going to get him fucking killed. And he says to him, he's like, put Hans back on. You don't know what you're doing. And he says, like, Hans, he doesn't know what kind of man you are. I know that you'll do this. Please don't kill him. Please don't kill anybody else. And then Ellis is like, well, they're not gonna fuck. And, like, as literally Hans is like picking the gun up, he's like, oh, I thought we were just playing. No.
He's chugging a
Dead.
Coke when he gets shot. Like, you see him, like, very concerningly drinking that Coke they brought him.
Yep.
And then he gets shot in the face.
Yep. Shot in the face. And Hans is like, where are my detonators? Next time I'll kill someone you do care about. Like, I'll find them. You're here to see somebody.
He literally says, I'll kill everyone down here until I get to somebody you actually do care about.
Right.
Which, like, he could have just started grabbing people and like, oh, I'm going to kill this person, you know?
Yes.
Like every minute or so until you come down or whatever.
Especially because he was planning on killing all of them anyway
Yeah.
by blowing the roof.
Yeah.
Anyway, he gets him connected to the LAPD and he's like, I want my friends out of prison. I want all these people. And he's rattling off all these people. Carl is like, who are the Asian Dawn movement? Like,
I read about them in Time magazine. I love that line because it's very clear in that moment that they don't give a shit about these freedom fighters
This
or
is a
whatever. This is
distraction.
just a distraction. So they get the helicopters. And so when they send everybody up to the roof, it just blows up.
right.
And they think that they're dead and they sneak out in a fire like ambulance kind of thing.
Right. But we then cut to the news who are like, yes, the author of Hostage Terrorist, Terrorist Hostage, tell us about the Helsinki syndrome. And this is where we get the Helsinki, Sweden? No, Helsinki, Finland.
Yeah. There's one cut to the news where they talk about how Hans belongs to like a German terrorist group.
Yes.
But that group has issued a press release that says, and I quote, let me check it here. Oh, him? We don't know him. We kicked him out
We
like
don't know
6
him.
months ago or whatever. Like, we don't know that guy.
We don't know him at all, but who should arrive? Johnson & Johnson from the FBI.
Love it.
Now, at this point, the FBI has arrived and Hans is like, all right, time to put our other plans into motion because the FBI does their stuff the same way every time.
Yep. They run a playbook that I can exploit because I know the playbook.
I know the playbook. So he goes to check the explosives near the roof. And who does he encounter? John McClane.
Yeah.
And pretends to be American with a horrifyingly bad American accent.
Yeah. I love that they found a way for them to explain why the heist took place during a Christmas party because they need the FBI. The FBI
Right.
is who gets them through that last lock. So this plan wouldn't work on a Saturday, you know, when no one's in the office and they just have to kill the front security guard or like tape him up or whatever and then
Right.
spend the hours in there like just doing the job. They need them there. So the FBI come out and cut off the power. I love that they explain that in such a believable way.
Right, because if there were no hostages, if there were no people, no one would interrupt them, but they probably would not get that last lock because
Right.
they wouldn't be able to kill the power. They have to kill the power grid, which we'll get to momentarily. But as John McClane is now face to face with Hans, we're not sure if he knows that that's Hans. He does because he's John McClane and he's the best.
Yeah. But Hans does a killer accent. Like Hans is so good, guys.
I mean, it's not good, but I do love the way that they clue us in to John McClane knowing
Yeah.
because he's looking at the list of names on the building next to him. He's looking at, he's asking Hans who he is and matching it with the names. And
But he gets the name right because he says Bill Clay.
Yes.
And the name on the thing is W. Clay or W.H.
Right.
Clay or whatever, which could be William, right? So like,
it could be.
damn, Hans knew the people in the building. Like,
Yes.
that's how much he prepared for it. I think he knew from just the voice because it does still sound like Alan Rickman just without
Yes.
the heavy accent. You know?
Right.
So he clearly does know because what happens. But he does get the name right, which kind of surprised me.
And he also was faced away when he met John McClane, so maybe he saw the name. Who knows?
Yeah, could be. I don't know. Yeah.
But he hands him a gun and you're like, no, John McClane. And then John walks ahead of him and then we see him call into his walkie-talkie in German and go to fire the gun. But of course, there's no bullets in it.
Yeah.
Now, 2 other guys arrive on the elevator. So now Hans has backup. Thus ensues a shootout where he just destroys a man's knees with bullets.
I still remember that from when I was a kid, and that always grossed me out.
Yeah, but this is the one where that guy whose knees he shot fell through a glass window, slicing his neck.
Yeah.
Very dead. But this is where, because Hans has now met John McClane and knows that he doesn't have shoes, he tells Carl,
Shoot the glass.
And they basically shoot the glass and then leave. Because they don't need to kill him. They just need to stop him from interfering with their shit.
They throw like a flashbang hockey puck over there.
Right.
And it goes off. And then they do sort of check the floor and he's gone. But he did, it is implied during that flash that like
Lose a
whited
lot
out
of
the
blood.
screen. Yeah, he ran out. But like there's a lot of blood leading out. They don't chase him because they don't need to. You're right.
Right. But he makes it to another floor safely. They run down where Theo is on lock number 6, so they're about to get to the electromagnetic one. He calls out to Al and is like, hey man, just in case I don't make it out, because I'm losing a lot of blood and things are looking bad, I need you to tell my wife that, like, I should have trusted her and I should have, done all this stuff. Like, if I don't get out of here, I always loved her. And then this is also where he asks if Al has flat feet. Like, why are you kind of a patrol cop? Why are you not in, like, homicide or something like that? And it's because Al had an accident and saw a 13-year-old boy with what he thought was a real gun and shot him. And he has now had to live with the guilt of that and never wanted to draw his gun on anybody ever again.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
It's brutal.
Largely because of the way he's delivering it. Like, he's like, it really messed with him. Like, he feels so guilty about it. And the guy just does a great job, like, delivering it. He crushes it.
Well, and even when he does pull his gun later and save so many people by doing so, you can see that he's still conflicted about it. And I think that's great writing and incredible performance as well.
Yeah.
But while that's happening, the FBI is going by their playbook and shutting down the power grid for the building and basically all the surrounding blocks, which unlocks the electromagnetic lock.
Yeah. I actually kind of think they imply that the guy who was actually in there could have disconnected the building, but it would have done it in a way that would have kept the electromagnetic lock in place. But they were like, no, just shut down the whole grid. Do it now or you're fired. And so he was like, all right.
All right. But now, at this point, TV, the reporters have figured out who John McClane is because Ellis gave them the name.
Yeah.
And they've now gone to his house. When she punches that reporter at the end, I was like, good for you. Because they go and interview their children.
Yeah.
A huge, huge invasion of privacy.
Oh, yeah. It's terrible.
And are like, this might be the last time they can talk to their parents. It's fucking awful. But this is when Hans sees this on the TV and is like, oh, that lady is John McClane's wife. Time to kidnap her too. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Like,
the fact that, just to button this, Holly punches, actually, I don't think it's a punch. I think it's a taser. I think she tasers the journalist again in the second one.
Oh,
because
fuck yes.
he does some fuck around stuff in that one too.
Nice.
So like
nice.
he comes back in that one. I was like, this is amazing.
That's incredible.
Although if I remember correctly, the movie isn't as romantic as this one.
Sure. But now he has Holly, and he is called for the FBI to send helicopters because he knows it's in their playbook.
Yeah.
And he also knows that they'll send those helicopters to shoot all the terrorists instead of picking them up and sacrifice some hostages to do it.
Yeah.
So he has planned to blow the roof. And McClane at this point is like, why was he on the roof?
Yeah.
Why was he on the roof? And as he goes up there to check the explosives, he's like, they're going to blow this entire fucking roof.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hans was there putting the detonators in. So he has to fight Carl because Carl has been sent to basically kill him and catches him right as he gets to the bottom and doesn't shoot him, but is like, this is personal. I'm going to kill you with my bare fucking hands. Yeah, but it's more his feet. He kicks him a lot.
Yeah.
A lot like a ballerina would. Yeah.
Bare fucking toes. But he manages to hang Carl from chains and then runs up to the roof and shoots one of the terrorists on the way and has to fire into the air to be like, everyone get off the roof. They're going to blow the roof. Get off the roof. And this is as the helicopters are coming around with the like, just like Saigon. I was in junior high, dickhead. Like that's happening at the same time.
But the machine gunner in the helicopter does start shooting at the roof, like right next to the people. And also John McClane is shooting, so they think he's a terrorist, which I kind of like.
Right.
I kind of get that, even though they're in the wrong, obviously.
Right.
But he runs off the sort of helipad part of the roof to avoid it. And then that's when everyone starts running back inside because, gunfire.
Yeah. And this is where he grabs a fire hose to get off the roof because he knows the roof's going to blow.
Yeah.
And he's like, I promise I'll never think of going up a tall building again. But he jumps just as the explosion happens.
It's such a cool shot, man.
Such a cool shot. Shoots and kicks in a window, so he's back inside, but then the fire hose wheel falls off the building and almost drags him out with it.
It's so tense. It's such a well done shot and scene and sequence. It's great.
One of the things I saw this time that I thought was incredibly funny was as all of the hostages are running down from the roof, they're clearly throwing like styrofoam or foam like rubble at them from the explosion, and a guy gets hit square in the head and doesn't flinch and keeps running. And I'm like, if that was actual rubble, that man would be dead.
Yeah.
But
if that was actual ceiling, that would have knocked him out at least. least.
Yes.
If it wasn't a piece of the aggro crag.
Right. That explosion does take out one of the helicopters, which falls against the building and explodes.
Yeah.
Basically, now we are down to Hans, Theo, who has gotten into the vault because of the power outage.
Yeah.
And is loaded up and is in the ambulance. And then the two, well, now only the one guy, I guess, from the bottom floor. But also, John McClane is down to 2 bullets.
Yeah.
And how's he going to save his wife? Meanwhile, downstairs, Argyle sees the truck unloading the fake ambulance and has now heard on the radio in the limo all the stuff that's going on with the police, like all the shit that's happening. And so he rams that ambulance and punches Theo.
Yeah.
Which is great.
It is great.
Meanwhile, John McClane, 2 bullets and sees packing tape, ?
I do love the zoom in on the packing tape.
Yes, but walks in with what looks like a giant gun and gun butts somebody down or whatever. So they make him give up his gun. He puts his hands up behind his back.
Yeah, this is like their last conversation with Hans, right?
Right.
And Hans is holding the gun to Holly's face, so he's like, okay, I'll put the gun down. And they think they have John dead to rights because he no longer has a gun in their mind.
Right.
And it's 2 versus 1.
Right.
So they're like, we're good. We're fine. So he no longer is pointing his gun at Holly. He starts to point it at John McClane. And then he says, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, in his accent. And it makes John McClane start laughing, which is weird. And then Hans start laughing to I guess kind of break the tension. And then John yells, Holly, grabs the gun and kills both of them.
Yes.
Both him and the security guard guy.
Shoots the security guard guy. That guy's dead. Hans is still alive.
That's true, but he's been
is
shot. Yeah. And he's falling out of the window. Yeah.
Falling out of the window, but he's about to take Holly with him until they unlatch the watch, causing Hans to fall down off the building and causing the police chief to go, oh.
Man, I hope it's a terrorist.
I hope that wasn't a hostage.
Yeah.
My favorite also is when the helicopter explodes and he's like, I guess we're going to need 2 new FBI guys. I was like, all right. But at this point, they come down to the ground floor. He finally meets Al. This is very they hug. He's crying. It's a very emotional scene. But who should pop out? Carl, magically still alive. And Al pulls out his gun, reacts in a moment, and shoots him, saving everybody because Carl had a fuck-off machine gun.
Yeah. Those are some beefy shots, too. They're like, go. The gun sounds so big when Al shoots him.
Well, and you see the conflict in his eyes.
Yeah.
Whoo. But Argyle pulls up in the limo, and John McClane, having not been debriefed, questioned, or taken to the police station, is like, this one's with me, and just hops in the back of the limo. The limo drives away.
This is after Holly punches the journalist, though, who's like,
yes.
Can we talk to you for a second? And then Holly decks him in the face. It's great.
Yes.
Did you get that?
Did you get that? They get into the back of the limo, and we hear in voiceover, man, this is how you guys do Christmas? I gotta be here for New Year's.
It's as Argyle's walking behind the limo after opening the door for them. Yeah.
And as the limo drives away, it appears that they start banging in the back of that limo.
Yeah. And that's the movie.
movie.
So having seen the movie, having talked about the movie, what did you think about Die Hard?
I mean, it's a classic for a reason, obviously.
Yeah.
It's funny because I hadn't watched it super recently because I was kind of annoyed by all the discourse around it being a Christmas movie where I'm like, yeah, it happens at Christmas. I don't disagree with you or whatever, but do we need to make a big deal about it?
Paige, what more could you want out of a Christmas rom-com than this?
I mean, sure.
It's a man coming across a continent to listen to his wife, hear her out, and then finally, and I realize he should have before this, but finally see his wife as an equal partner in their relationship. And at the end of the movie, it's snowing paper. It is a perfect... I just realized about the paper standing in for snow at the end of this movie. It is a perfect Christmas movie. Enough said.
I mean, but I will say, in watching it now today, I was like, there's a lot less Christmas in this than I remember.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely in the background of the movie for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Nobody's secretly Santa. It isn't that kind of movie. Yeah.
Yeah, no one is a snowman come to life because of a magic scarf.
Paige, Michael Keaton dies, becomes a snowman. Just shot for shot this movie, though. He has to save his family as a snowman. It's a combination of What was that movie where he's a snowman? And have we done it yet?
Hot Frosty. Yeah, we did Hot Frosty.
I don't think it's called Hot Frosty.
It is absolutely called Hot Frosty.
I don't know. I'm looking it up. It's called Jack Frost, Paige. That's what it is.
No, that's
from
one...
1998.
No, well, there's that one, but then Hot Frosty from 2024, which we did do.
No. I know we did. We haven't done the Michael Keaton, Kelly Preston.
But you mean the Michael Keaton one. Yes.
A father who can't keep his promises, killed in a car accident, 1 year later returns as a snowman who has the final chance to put things right with his son before he's gone forever. It's not really a rom-com, so we can't do it here.
No.
But that's the movie I was thinking of. But largely because it shares the name with a horror movie. About a murderer who comes back as a snowman.
Which, have you guys done Jack Frost on Horror Virgin before me?
We did.
Okay.
There's a sexual assault with a carrot nose that I do not want to talk about.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Paige. It's a wonderful movie, I guess. No, it's pretty crazy. Anyway.
Oh, no.
But, Paige.
Yes.
Do you want to hit us with some Die Hard fun facts?
I do.
Hit us with your fun facts.
Die Hard fun facts. So the fictional Nakatomi Plaza is actually the headquarters of 20th Century Studios on Avenue of the Stars in Century City. They used one of their own buildings so they didn't have to hold back on stunts and action sequences. And Jeb Stewart, the screenwriter, actually did a tour of the building and immediately incorporated some of the locations and objects he found there into his script as set pieces.
It feels that way.
Yeah. The cart that McClane and Carl end up riding during their fight, he found one of those on one of the floors. And the company charged itself rent for use of the then unfinished building. It is now finished.
Of course they did.
Some of the middle floors were occupied by legal and admin, so they only used the empty floors for filming. So they basically built a fake office on those empty floors. Now, because a lot of it contains gunfire, they would have to wait until after hours because the employees on the active floor started to complain about the noise.
They're like, hey, I'm trying to have like these meetings and it literally sounds like there's a terrorist event going on. So like, it's not going to work for me. Can we do it at 5? Can we start at 5 maybe?
Sure. The costume department had 17 undershirts in various stages of degradation on hand for Bruce Willis until he loses the shirt entirely.
Yeah.
The scene where Bruce Willis and Alan Rickman meet for the first time was unrehearsed. It was written, but not rehearsed. So they had not necessarily met before that point in shooting. Really? Because they only have 2 scenes together in this film.
That's true. I mean, yeah, it's the one scene where they're on the roof and then the one scene where they're in it's more or less his death scene.
Yeah.
Alan Rickman's. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was kind of like they had met a couple times off set, but like this is their first time doing a scene together is that scene. And they wanted to do that so that they had kind of a feeling of spontaneity between the 2 actors.
Yeah.
Speaking of Alan Rickman, he almost passed on this role.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
This ends up being his first film role in America. He had only arrived in Hollywood 2 days earlier and was appalled by the idea of his first role being the villain in an action film. And essentially, he was kind of right because this got so popular that he struggled being typecast as villains for most of his career, which there is a part of me that's like, man, your voice sounds like that.
Yeah.
Like that was always going to happen to you. At the time, Bruce Willis was basically paid an unheard of amount, which had to be specially approved by Fox president Rupert Murdoch. Do you want to take a guess as to what that amount was for this movie?
At this time, I want to say, $10 million?
$5 million.
Okay.
But that's insane to think of now when 20 million is not unheard of for somebody of that name. Yeah.
Yeah.
In 2007, Bruce Willis donated one of John McClane's undershirts to the Smithsonian Museum, one of the 17 that he had in his possession.
Nice.
Now, in the spring of 1987, producer Joel Silver and director John McTiernan attended a performance of the play Dangerous Liaisons, in which Alan Rickman played the evil Viscount de Valmont. Immediately, they cast him almost on the spot. So that's like he literally arrives in America to do this play. They happen to see the play. They cast him immediately, and he's like, oh, villain, but like for the rest of his life, essentially. Only a few of the actors who played the German terrorists were actually German, and only a couple could speak broken German. They were cast for their menacing appearances rather than their nationality. 9 of the 12 are over 6 feet tall. And the one who plays Carl is named Hans.
Okay.
Much of the dialogue of the script is improvised due to constant screenplay tweaks that were being made during filming. A lot of the scenes and set pieces existed, but a lot of the conversations people are having are improv.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, which is crazy for the amount of important dialogue that lands.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are some things like Al's speech or John McClane's speech, those are probably not improv.
Yeah.
But things like when Ellis and Holly are talking and she's like, don't go in there. And he's like, I'm going to go in there. That's probably improv.
Yeah.
Like, so it's kind of interesting to see kind of the duality of that in the script. This was selected for preservation in the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress.
Nice.
In 2017 for being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. And I would agree. Bruce Willis has also always said this was his favorite role.
Yeah.
I'll end on this one because this is kind of interesting. Bruce Willis at the time was mainly known for playing comedic roles, specifically on Moonlighting TV show, if you've never seen it.
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
I haven't seen it, but I'm aware of it.
Yep. So when the trailers first appeared in cinemas, audiences laughed at him, thinking that it must be a comedy and not an action movie. For a brief time, because the studio was worried about that, they actually removed his face from the posters to prevent expectations of it being a comedy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so the poster is just Nakatomi Plaza, like the building.
Yeah.
But once the film came out and received a positive response, his face was added back onto the poster. And those are your fun facts.
Well, thank you for those fun facts page. Let's talk a little bit about box office. So what do you think the production budget was for Die Hard in 1988?
Let's see. If Bruce Willis's fee is $5 million and it's 1988, I'm going to say the total cost of this movie was somewhere in the neighborhood of $25 million.
Yeah, so it was 28 million, Paige. So really good guess.
Close.
If you adjust for inflation, that's roughly $76.8 million today.
That's still cheap for a movie like this,
Yeah.
by the way.
I think it's because they use their own offices. I realize they charge themselves rent,
Yeah.
which to me sounds like a scam.
It is. That's Hollywood accounting.
Yeah, like
for
they
sure.
could have gotten away with more because this looks way better than $28 million at the time.
Yeah.
But it initially launched in only 21 theaters, so its first weekend it only brought in a gross of $601,000. I assume they did like a limited promotional sort of release, which is not super uncommon. But the next weekend it was in a more nationwide release. And do you want to take a guess? Well, and it was third. I'll tell you that before I ask you to take a guess.
Okay.
So it was beat by Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
Oh.
which was number 1 that weekend.
Yes.
And had been out for 5 weeks. Number 2
Sure.
was Coming to America, which
Oh.
had been out for 4 weeks.
Classic.
Die Hard was number 3. The Deadpool, not Deadpool, but The Deadpool was number 4, and Midnight Run was number 5.
Ooh.
What do you think Die Hard made in its second weekend, but its first nationwide release weekend?
I'm going to say $6 million.
That's close. It was $7.1 million. Now, this movie was in theaters for 29 weeks in its initial run, and it was, again, I said third in its second week. It was fourth in its third week, but in its fourth week, it went and stayed at third until its seventh week, where it dropped to fourth for 3 weeks and then went to its highest position on the charts in its 10th week. It was second in its 10th week.
That's wild. That never happens.
It's such a weird trajectory. Yeah.
It's top 5 for like 12 weeks.
Yeah. No. Yeah, 100%. It was top 5 for its first 12 weeks. But it never got to number 1. It did get to 2 1 week, but it was mainly third or fourth. And then in its 13th week, it dropped to 6th, and then 7th in its 14th, and then was out of sort of contention for the remainder of its run. But what do you think it made domestically at the box office?
Honestly, like staying in the top 5 for that long actually nets you a fair amount of money. I'm going to say this makes $52 million.
It was $85.8 million.
Ooh,
Yeah, it did,
damn,
it did
all
really well. Now, internationally, it did pretty well as well. It made $57.7 million. So a total of $143.6 million is what this brought in at the box office, which ain't bad.
Well, and I'm sure home market, it fucking
Oh.
crushed.
I'm sure it made a ton of money in the home market. I don't have that, but I'm sure it made a shitload of money.
It's still making money. I'm sure it made a shitload of money in the last 5 years as people have like lauded it as a Christmas movie on top of it just being good.
And rightfully so. But that $143.6 million is almost $400 million today at $394.4 million.
That is crazy.
Now, this is not adjusted for inflation, but if you do stack rank them for how they did in the box office worldwide, this one did the worst.
That doesn't surprise me, actually.
Which, that's not normally how that goes, though.
No, but it's one of those things where it did well enough that the franchise gets famous and every movie on top of that compounds. I feel like if we took a look at Marvel movies up to Endgame, not after Endgame, but like up to Endgame, I think we'd see a similar trajectory of like snowballing into something bigger and then a contraction. Now, they haven't made another Die Hard movie since, I think 2006, was that the last one?
2007 was Live Free or Die Hard, and that's the top
Yeah.
of the franchise at $382 million worldwide. But they're not going to make any more unless they change out the actor, unfortunately. But yeah.
There has been talk of that for years, and I think everyone has kind of resisted the urge because Bruce Willis is, I think, central to Die Hard. I don't know that you can really have a Die Hard movie without him.
Yeah, it's a little bit different from like the Bond movies, who like that James Bond's title and 007 title are just like monikers that are passed on to whoever's in that job, more or less.
Right.
But yeah, that's your box office. So, Paige, do you want to hit us with the romance scale?
Sure. Our romance scale is a scale of 1 to 4 of how romantic we found this movie today, Tom.
I'm going to give it a 1, although I do think Holly Gennaro's acting does a great job of showing how much she loves John McClane and is happy she's there. And we get the scenes of her like calling her like babysitter housekeeper lady and is like, hey, did he call? Like she wants him to be there.
Right.
But because of the activities in the movie that are really, I think, a really good metaphor for John attacking the toxic masculinity in his life to realize, oh yeah, my wife is an equal partner in this relationship. I do think it's a 1 for me though.
Sure. I would say that like it is both a 1 for me and yet more healthy than any Hallmark relationship we've covered.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's your romance scale.
So this week, Paige, I made you watch Die Hard. I actually sort of said it as a joke and you yes-anded me, and here we are.
Yeah.
But Paige, what are we going to watch next week?
So we actually have plans for the next 2 weeks. We're telling you in advance so that you have time to go see something because one of them is a new release. Because good news, it's Wicked, parts 1 and 2, separated by a week.
Yeah, so we are going to do the first of the 2 Wicked movies, which
Wicked
is called Wicked, next week. So that's your homework for next week. I actually haven't seen the movies. I've seen the stage production many times, but I've never seen the movie. I've been holding off on it for this, so I'm excited to finally be able to watch them.
There you go. I've seen the play many times, and I have read the books and I've seen part 1. I am going to see part 2 probably this weekend.
Nice. Take notes.
Yes, I will. I will, or I'll see it more than once.
Yeah.
The second act of the play is kind of my favorite. It has my favorite songs in it, even though kind of a downer and sad.
Yeah.
So I will probably see this one more than once. But I think I'm going to make Jake watch part 1 today. So
nice.
Yeah. But that is your homework.
Yeah, it's your homework for next week, guys.
Put on your canonically accurate silver shoes and watch Wicked. Hey, Todd, do you have any reviews for us?
I do. And this week, I'm going to read this one from Nikki. And they say, Die Hard, yes, thank you.
Yay.
Which you're welcome. I hope you enjoyed the episode.
You're welcome.
I do want to say there are a lot of people in our comments for the Merry Little Xmas episode, which this comment was on, that were correcting us about architects. Apparently, a lot of them do sort of in like the home construction arena do double duty with like project management of like foreman stuff and the design of the houses, which was news to me. Did not know that.
I have never seen that happen, but I will have to trust that others have.
Yeah, I don't have any firsthand knowledge of it, so great. Thanks for letting us know. Sorry about that. But if you want to have me read your 5-star Apple review or Spotify comment, leave us one of those things and I will do just that. So yeah, if you guys like this show and want to hear our other show where we talk about horror movies, that is The Horror Virgin. That's the only other podcast I am on, but Paige is also on Cult Podcast, which you can find at Cult Podcast. And you can find us on social media. I am at Todd J. Awesome, literally everywhere. Paige is at Paige Wesley on Instagram.
No, it's at Rampage Wesley on Instagram and TikTok, at Paige Wesley on Twitter.
That's right. All right. So that's where you can find Paige. If you want to find the show, we are at Romancing the Pod Show, right?
Yep, Romancing Pod Show on Twitter.
Well, and Instagram, right?
And Instagram, but it's show SHO because character limits. If you start typing Romancing the Pod, it'll come up.
It'll definitely come up on Instagram. I don't know about Twitter because I haven't posted on Twitter in a hot ass minute. So who knows? But that is where you can find more of us. So yeah, guys, give us a follow. Support the show any way you can. We'd love it.
Smash that like button.
Hell yeah.
And that's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
And I'm Todd.
And yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers.
Sprechen Sie talk, babe. I hated Ellis so much.
Ellis
Guys, have a
Source.
great week. Bye. I can't wait till we can do Die Hard with a Vengeance, nerds.